Campaign this morning returned to an active crime scene. The sub-zero Manhattan courthouse, where Democrats have been pinning Trump down with a political ankle monitor. The criminal brought with him his co-conspirators, old men in black. Punchy Bobby De Niro, wearing a mask, still trying to slow the spread of...
For De Niro, there's something about being a star where you think your opinion's more important than anybody else's, and you can go give a press conference, and he obviously has been very vocal from 2016 that he hates Trump for whatever reason. Maybe they have some personal thing.
You think Trump ever threw a punch himself or took one? This guy who ran and hid in the White House bunker when there were protesters out...
Robert De Niro thought he was stepping into the spotlight, but instead it turned into an awkward moment. Joe Rogan adds his clever remarks. Jesse Waters is amused, and the scene unfolds like a light-hearted comedy. De Niro, once known for his confident roles, now seems unsure in his own performance. This isn't a movie, it's an unexpected roast, and there's no one to call cut.
Man in the world sent an actor who plays a mob boss to intimidate the jury before deliberations. Watch.
The Twin Towers fell just over here, just over there. This part of the city was like a ghost.
De Niro, once celebrated for his strong and memorable roles, seems to have shifted to a new phase, the confused elder. It's not a sequel anyone anticipated, yet here we are, watching moments that feel more exaggerated than the most dramatic TV shows.
Press conferences. Now everyone's heckling him everywhere he goes.
That's so bad.
Like instead of just being this cranky old liberal, now you're this guy that is yelling at other people that are Trump supporters, and they're yelling at you. Like you've opened yourself up to this nonsense.
Like,
why?
Gentlemen in this world, the Democrats, you are gangsters. You are gangsters. Fuck you.
Now every movie you go to, 50% of the population is going to not want to go see
If
that.
you're enjoying this video, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. While De Niro tries to capture the intensity of his famous roles, Joe Rogan and Jesse Waters add humor and facts with perfect timing. Rogan doesn't dive in with anger. Instead, he observes with a curious look, as though witnessing something completely unexpected.
An actor read a script in Lower Manhattan saying his opponent is worse than 9/11. And then the actor slipped and went off script and admitted he's trying to scare you. In politics, you can't admit you're trying to scare voters. It's not the movies. But watch what happens when there is no script.
What's your response to Republicans who say you're running on January 6th because you can't run on Biden's record?
I'd say that's absolutely...
Rogan doesn't shout or argue. Instead, he's taken aback that De Niro, once admired for his quiet strength, now seems animated by frustration. Rogan watches with a mix of confusion and amusement, trying to understand how the actor who once defined calm intensity has taken this turn.
For people in Hollywood that are entrenched in that world is to shut the because as soon as they start talking, people like as soon as Robert De Niro starts talking, I'm like, Jesus, get that microphone away from him so I can enjoy Taxi Driver.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I don't want to hear. I love De Niro. I love those mob movies. It's like
I don't want to hear him that he's a moron. I don't want to hear him talking about politics and about Trump supporters, and just shut the up, man.
Yeah.
Like you didn't think this through. Like this is, and he's getting yelled at. He's doing an outside press conference. Like Robert, you're 80 years old. Don't ruin this thing. You've had this life where you were a raging bull. You know, you were you were in The Godfather. Like stop doing this.
Man. Hollywood's tough guy now sounds more like someone passionately sharing opinions at a local event. Rogan, with his experience in M&A and podcasting, reflects on how De Niro's impressive legacy now seems at odds with his current emotional expressions. The man who commanded respect on screen now feels caught in a storm of opinions, like a family member animatedly discussing everyday topics. Rogan watches, not upset but intrigued, as the contrast between De Niro's past image and his current behavior becomes clear.
Boring interview. He used to sell his movies on Leno and Letterman, and it was like watching a WNBA game. You were just bored to death. All of a sudden, Trump became president, and he started saying things. I want to punch the president in the face. You know, he's a crooked piece of... And then all of a sudden, De Niro became interesting during his media tours, and that's the only way now he can get publicity for his film, is by cursing and saying whatever he says the movie's Ezra.
For Rogan, this isn't about any specific topic. It's about how someone so widely respected has shifted gears. He finds it ironic that the actor once known for calm and composed roles now seems more intense than ever. Somewhere along the way, De Niro transitioned from being a symbol of control to someone drawing attention for passionate moments. Rogan, with his mix of humor and insight, unpacks it all. De Niro's legacy remains strong, but his recent actions stand out, leaving everyone to wonder what changed.
She locked up because she's a complete and total idiot. That's not.
She's in a pretty contest.
Not only, but that's not just that, dude. Anybody could get locked up like that. You're on stage in front of people with TV cameras pointed at you. You've never experienced that in your life, and you have a panic attack. It doesn't mean you're an idiot, and that's also Robert De Niro.
The same man who hasn't set foot in a hardware store for years now claims to understand the struggles of everyday workers. The gap is obvious, and his over-the-top delivery, with squints, deep sighs, and dramatic gestures, feels more like a comedy act than a heartfelt speech. Joe Rogan sees through the performance. It's not genuine frustration, it's rehearsed, like an attempt at a viral moment that didn't land. De Niro isn't upset with the world. He's frustrated that people stop taking his opinions as the final word. Jessa Waters steps in, calm and composed, using clever humor instead of volume. While Rogan breaks down the chaos, Waters adds sharp wit, exposing the contradiction.
Up in November, how do you decide who you're voting for?
The economy.
Whoever tells it how it is.
I think about who's better looking.
How handsome am I, right? How handsome?
Actor Robert De Niro says you must vote for Joe Biden or else.
Or else.
Or else what?
Or else the country is going to be destroyed.
We're in great shape now, right? We're doing great.
It might be destroyed.
Was the country destroyed the first time?
It was on the verge, yes.
How?
Well, it's a secret.
Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, I might vote for Joe Biden if Robert De Niro said it. I'm not gonna lie, he's one of my favorite actors.
If he pays me, I don't know, $1 million.
Waters begins by highlighting the inconsistencies. De Niro, who claims to stand for truth, now acts more unpredictably than a poorly written movie scene. One moment, he's calling for unity. The next, he's throwing fits that even a child might avoid. Waters questions how someone can be so loud yet so unclear. Then he gives examples, from De Niro's luxurious lifestyle to his selective outrage. It all points to hypocrisy. Waters doesn't stop there. He shows how De Niro's activism is more about lecturing others than creating change. With humor and precision, he reveals how far De Niro has drifted from the strong image he once held.
In Robert De Niro about is two things: awesome movies and divorce.
Yeah.
Like, tell me what happened to you.
I would love to ask about
with
that.
the divorce. Tell me what happened if you want to talk about it, and tell me what happened to you with these awesome fucking movies. I don't need to know jack shit about his politics.
Well, he doesn't. That's the thing. He just tells you he feels a way. That's all he's got to say.
Yeah, but it's almost unfair to have a guy like that on a public show and talk to him about politics.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
Waters doesn't just call out the double standards. He makes them crystal clear. De Niro may talk tough, but Waters humorously reminds us that true strength doesn't seek applause or crumble under criticism. He contrasts De Niro's iconic tough guy roles with his current behavior, which seems more focused on personal preferences than real bravery. Rogan and Waters approach the topic differently, but are equally effective. Rogan critiques the logic like a commentator watching an odd spectacle, while Waters adds humor, highlighting the echo chamber De Niro seems trapped in. Together, they demonstrate how applause has replaced deep thought for many public figures.
You up against it. You're washed out.
And then they have a protest of Robert De Niro yesterday. He's a fool. He's a broken down fool standing out there. He got maggot. He got maggot yesterday. He got a big dose of it.
Donald Trump popping off on the Biden campaign's De Niro stunt, which bombed harder than Robert's last 5 movies. The actor was outside the Trump courthouse, letting his undiagnosed Trump derangement syndrome get the best of him. And even the liberal media was embarrassed.
Niro isn't alone. He's just the loudest example of unchecked fame. Rogan, with his signature raised eyebrow and chuckle, points out the disconnect. Celebrities like De Niro talk about struggles, but rarely engage directly with the people they speak for. While small businesses struggled, De Niro was far removed, living comfortably in luxury. Waters critiques De Niro's shallow wisdom, warning about the risks of turning opinions into absolute truths. Rogan watches with a mix of amusement and disbelief, while Waters uses humor to underline the problem of celebrity influence that lacks substance.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't think this through. Like, this is... And he's getting yelled at. He's doing an outside press conference. Like, Robert, you're 80 years old. Don't ruin this thing. You've had this life where you were a fucking raging bull. You know, you were in The Godfather. Like, stop. Stop doing this.
Man.
Don't do this.
I'm terrified to meet some of those people I looked up to now.
You should be.
I mean, like...
I've met a few of them. And it's actors in particular, because their whole business is pretend. Their whole business is pretend. You know, one of the things about guys like Theo or comedians, you run into comedians, their business is the opposite of pretend. Their business is just being a real person talking shit.
Yeah.
They're professional shit talkers.
Yeah.
You know, having fun, being silly, talking shit about things. And actors are not that. They're weird people.
The surprising part? De Niro didn't see it coming. He's too caught up in his own words to notice that the focus has shifted. Rogan and Waters weren't aiming to embarrass him. They were offering a reality check. In a world where actors confuse their roles with actual authority, the answer is clear: humility. Rogan ends with a sigh, as if to say, another one caught in the illusion. Waters glances at the camera with a knowing smile, almost asking, who's next? They didn't need flashy arguments or heated debates, just a simple look at the disconnect in De Niro's approach. What remains is the image of a once respected actor shouting into the void, his message overshadowed by his approach.
The entire thing was not a great idea.
Step away from celebrities. I don't think it helps. I think it kind of almost, in a weird way, sometimes backfires. Oh, those liberal Hollywood elites, and they're well-intentioned, and Robert De Niro is well-intentioned, but I think staying away from the courthouse would have been the best thing.
Morning Mika was taken aback by the raging tool and tried to get the Biden camp to backtrack.
The best thing for people in Hollywood that are entrenched in that world is to shut the because as soon as they start talking, be like, as soon as Robert De Niro starts talking, I'm like, Jesus, get that fucking microphone away from him so I can enjoy Taxi Driver.
Rogan, never one to linger on a single subject, expands the point. People are growing tired of celebrities stepping up with little more than cliches and dramatic emotion. His comments aren't just about De Niro. They're a broader critique of Hollywood's habits. Rogan's smirk says it all. We've seen this story before, and it doesn't end well. De Niro may still be giving speeches that sound out of touch, but the world has moved on. Rogan will continue exploring deeper topics, Waters will keep turning arrogance into humor, and De Niro, he'll be left searching for the right role to play, but this time, the script might not be there.